First off, thank you very much for having me, and thank you, Viraji, for hosting. I mean, I've seen the power of an ecosystem. I mean, if you look at what Palo Alto and the greater Bay Area is, it's because of one institution. So I truly believe India needs to focus on building ecosystems. Politically, it might sound correct to do different projects across the country, but if they have to sustain for the next 100 years, I believe in the power of ecosystem, and that's what we are doing in Andhra Pradesh. The second aspect that has had profound impact on me personally, and from Stanford Business School, is for our finals, we never had invigilators. So there's no one. And that left a profound impact on me on the need to build character and integrity and make that part of our culture, our rhythm, and in education. So when I did talk about this to our Chief Minister, Mr. Naidu, he said, good. So you have to deal with human resource development, PG and skill development, and IT and electronics. So you can do that better. And that was the task given to me.
Thank you. I'm going to jump right into another project that Andhra has taken immediately after elections, something that is quite unique. The Prime Minister has announced the Viksit Bharat project, which is 2047. And then Andhra is one amongst the first states to have announced what is called Swarna Andhra 2047. This is a very unique state-level project, also very much in keeping with Mr. Naidu's vision, pioneering everything, going out there, doing it, taking the big targets, putting it down for themselves, for the bureaucracy, for the stakeholders, businesses, and has a lot of sectorial policies that are in that. I'm told there is industrial policies, renewable energy, IT, GCCs, data center, cloud, building on the vision of a tech-driven Andhra. If you could elaborate a little bit about that, because it's not, I think it's one of the few and unique propositions from a state. So if you could just elaborate on that a bit.
No, the Honorable Prime Minister pre-election did talk about Viksit Bharat. And taking a leaf from that book, we said, let's now focus on Viksit Andhra Pradesh. And we broadly laid out the vision of what we want to achieve. And then we are now going back to our electorate and asking feedback on what we should do. So it's a people-led movement, number one. Number two, as a state, taking from my first question, as a state, we believe in the power of ecosystems. So if you look at the state of Andhra Pradesh, we are peculiarly a long state. We have the second longest coastline. So each district is a geography for administration in India. Each district, we have specific focus areas. So if you take the southern bit, we want to focus on automotive manufacturing in one district. Renewable energy is a big thrust area. It's not just about solar, wind, it's about the pump storage projects. Close to 72 gigawatts is going to get built out in the next 5 years. Then you have the two other districts which are focused on electronics manufacturing, which is the Chittoor and Kadapa district. So like this, we have very district-specific focus areas. So coming to north of our state, we're going to focus on data centers, big data, the entire chem and pharma hub. So there's a lot of specific focus areas, and then we go back and say, what should each department do in order to achieve this vision? So for me, it's very clear that I have training institutes in the government. The ITI is polytechnic. So we're going to train manpower for tomorrow. So let's talk about all the green jobs we can create in one district. All the civil aviation jobs we can create out of one district. So that gives a lot of clarity, alignment for the state government on what we should go out achieving. And apart from that, Viksit Andhra Pradesh, which is Swarna Andhra Pradesh that we have. Swarna Andhra Pradesh translates to Golden Andhra Pradesh. We are now working backwards of saying that, okay, if we need to achieve this kind of per capita income, then how do we go about achieving it? So which department should do what, and we're going to measure ourselves on a monthly basis, like how all of you do your business. Even the state is going to do this. On a monthly basis, we're going to measure it. And the second part is, in this journey, we don't want anyone left behind. So we are creating a family, a report card of sorts, and saying what are the project or practice we can give to that family to pull them out of the cycle of poverty. So it's no longer about wealth creation alone, but how do you ensure that even people below the poverty line can be given a handout and to just pull them out of the cycle of poverty. And that's something that I think is going to be very unique to the state, and we're going to launch this in the next 3 months.
Excellent, congratulations. Just to link to that is another pioneering effort in this very short period since the election, which is the skill census. We haven't heard of this widely. But when I was doing the research, I sort of came across this, which is very unique again to Andhra, which is a basically creation of population scale digital public infrastructure for skilling and employment. It reflects the forward-looking vision of the Honorable Prime Minister, Chief Minister to sort of build this capacity. First, do a census, and then could you elaborate on that a little bit? Another pioneering concept?
The skill census that we're doing is one of its kind in India, I think one of its kind in the world.
Probably the first time.
It's a massive effort. We just started the pilot in my own constituency where I got elected. And the idea here is we're going to go door to door. And then we're going to triangulate data from multiple data sets. So apart from the household data, the education data, we want to understand what is a basic skill set. And then come back and see what kind of skill interventions we can do based on the market demand. So think about industry from one side, the youth on one side, and government has a platform. And then skill up it's going to be a journey. It's not a destination. It's not a one-off effort as far as our state is concerned. So we know where the industry is moving, and we want to learn from that, from all of you. And then we want to work backwards on saying, to this family, what can we do? What is the skill intervention that we can do? So it's very, very micro-targeting that we're going to now do. And I believe that will ensure that we deliver on the first promise in a manifesto, which is to create 2 million jobs in 5 years as a state. And we are the only political party to actually make that bold statement before an election.
Wow.
And fundamentally, I think all of us have to accept one thing, which is the Telugu people, the people from both Andhra and Telangana play a very important role in the IT sector. And all this points back to the reforms that Mr. Naidu did in his first term as Chief Minister, which is to get a lot of investments in education. So we had a lot of engineering colleges come up. So we have amazing talent. And this talent has gone across the globe. And taking a leaf out of that, what we are looking at as Visakhapatnam is, why can't we ride the wave of big data and the AI ML? So like when you look at Hyderabad, it was all the Y2K boom. So we have a next frontier that we can now do. And that's where I believe that Visakhapatnam can play a very important role. So we have renewable power. It's a beautiful location. So I keep jokingly saying, if Bangalore were to marry Goa and have a baby, that would be Visakhapatnam. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So it's a great location, amazing manpower, and we have a progressive government, a government which is not just talking about ease of doing business, but speed of doing business. Because though lot other states have done on ease, but speed is the biggest challenge because investments have just gone up. And even a month, 2-month delay throws your entire business plan out of whack. So we understand that and we want to deliver on the speed of business promise. So Visakhapatnam is going to be a focus from an IT perspective, our chemical, pharma perspective, and even medical devices manufacturing. So it's going to be a hub. We're going to do the entire ecosystem. All the ITIs, the polytechnics, all the engineering colleges there are going to focus on creating world-class curriculum and delivering on that promise. The flood that we had recently was 1 in 248 years event. And as things are changing and we're going to have once in a century events happening more often. So as a state, we understand that. But this flood definitely caught us off guard. It was a flash flood. In greater parts of the city, we had more than 6 foot water. And it was the first time that we had to handle floods. As a state, we've handled cyclones and we have expertise in that. But then Mr. Naidu being Mr. Naidu said, why can't we use drones for delivery? And I remember quite a few of the operators saying that's not possible. I mean, we've used it for agriculture purpose. Being an Indian, we call the Jugaad model. We had a basket fitted, let's say, let's try it. And success, we actually managed to deliver food. I wouldn't say that it was the best model. I think it was a great beginning because we didn't have enough of drones. So I wish I had 2,000 drones. Then I could have delivered breakfast, lunch and dinner to every house. But I just had about 40 drones. And with that 40 drones, we did do a pilot. And I think it clearly gives a direction of what India can do. And we're seeing other nations use drones to kill people. But I think India shows the way of how we can use drones in terms of relief and rehabilitation. So I think there's a lot of work that we've done there. Saying that, the second bit was the entire rehabilitation. So relief was done. How do you pay money? How do you rehabilitate people? Again, we put all the models out. We had a sandbox. All the images of the water from CCTV, from our drone footage was put out there. We had all the education institutions across the country and in Andhra Pradesh take a look at it, give us suggestions, start working on the models to tell us at what day, what level of water was in which area. So based on the amount of water outflow to the terrain, to where it's getting discharged, we could understand that better. So our rehabilitation, the money we were giving, it was amazing. We did this entire thing. 15 days after flood water receded, we doled out the money. And it was all done through online. Online because thanks to Aadhaar, every bank account is connected. So we were able to marry technology in that sense much better. But saying that, I think it's very important to go back to the field. And that's something that Mr. Naidu used to do every day in the evening. So he would go out for 4 hours, waist deep water, jump in, understand, did things get delivered or not? Then feedback would come to us. I was manning the control room. So he would say, okay, food didn't get delivered in this house on this lane. And here's the lat long. And then we had to send the food. So I think that's always required. I think you need a feedback loop. The human loop is always required on how much of a technology you might have. So I believe we have a model to handle such crisis, not only for Andhra, but for the nation. And one task we have taken up as a state is we'll get about 2,000 drones in the agriculture sector. A lot of the spraying, the pesticides and so on and so forth actually can be done using drones. And then during an emergency, we can pull it out and use it for relief activities. So I think it's a great learning experience. And as a country and as a nation, we're just learning on how can we use this technology far better. We're going to compete with the other capitals in the world. And that's our aspiration as a state. So as a state, we got bifurcated in the year 2014. So we are the new state, capitalist state. We started our journey from scratch, and Mr. Naidu is known for building cities ground up. An example of that is Cyberabad. So Hyderabad was built by the Nizam, Secunderabad by the British, and Cyberabad by Mr. Naidu. He has a great contribution in that. So he's known for it, and he brought the same vision, but he said, let's do this from scratch, and a completely green field. And the beauty of this project is not just the technology bit, but the human angle, where not even an acre was owned by the government, it was owned by the farmers. So we pooled the land from the farmers, where developed land went back to the farmers. So how do you make farmers part of this growth, the economic growth that we're going to deliver? So and that's very unique in that sense. And we started off with that project. It is going to be India's world-class city. It's going to be all green powered. It's a city that's going to have district cooling system, like how we have power, water coming and gas coming home. You'll actually have air conditioning coming as service. So we're looking at various efficient models that have been deployed across the world that can enable us to leapfrog as a city. That's one part. The second part comes to the entire knowledge bit. If you look at it, we already have India's premier institutes like SRM, VIT, already having campuses there, and they're creating world-class students, faculty coming out of that area, and more campuses are going to come. So that's where the entire knowledge economy is going to get kick-started. And saying that, as a government, we are very passionate about real-time governance. We did this in the past between 14 and 19. But now things have changed. Now government can be in your phone. So why should you go to office? And single question is that. So when you push a button, you're able to watch a movie. When you push a button, you're able to get a cab or groceries or lunch or dinner. Why can't government be that responsive? And that's a straight question that I get asked by the Honorable Chief Minister. Saying that, phase one, we're working with various platforms, and the phase one, we intend to deliver about close to 100 government services via any platform to your phone, number one. Number two, we want to use AI, and we are in talks, we are actually piloting it. And there are amazing examples of how AI can sort of improve the efficiency of government delivery. And the various instances where I believe we could have done much better than we did in the past. So you'll see in the next 100 days AI being deployed in governance, and also helping ministers, bureaucrats take decisions. So we already started this project where we have a digital twin for every minister. And based on the entire social listening, based on the feedback from various sources, it would advise that these are probably the 5 areas you want to pay attention in this week. So we're giving these insights to the ministers, and then we have this entire feedback mechanism. We understand sentiment across various ministries far better today. So 100 days from now, I think I'll be able to present it actually in front of everyone. And then we want to then go down, have a digital twin for every member of Legislative Assembly, so they can understand better what are the pain points, what are the things that we need to now focus on. So we're now working with private universities, global universities now to come and invest in our state. with a clear vision of what should come in which district. So one university which got added to the list was the entire Civil Aviation University. So we're working with GMR, which is the world's second largest private sector airport operator. And we're working with them on actually building a civil aviation university in Visakhapatnam. Because that's where we believe that it can be the hub for it, and where 25% of the global workforce can actually come from Andhra Pradesh. Logistics is going to be closer to where the ports are. Nellore is one district which has a good number of ports. We want to do it there. So with a very sectoral focus, we are now encouraging industries to, universities to actually come, start their campuses in Andhra Pradesh. And I'm fortunate to have both hats, Bharat and India. So Bharat hat is the Human Resource Development Ministry. India, of course, is the IT Electronics Ministry. So I'm lucky to have both, and I'm able to steer in terms of policy and what is required. So I keep saying, one size does not fit all. That's quite clear. Things have changed substantially. And what we can deliver is speed of doing business. And as a state, if you see a lot of institutions that wanted to become deemed universities, we created a policy for them to do that. And a lot of universities that want to start from scratch, it's going to be tailor-made for them based on their investment, the sector that they want to enter in Andhra Pradesh. As you rightly said, Mr. Naidu is always ahead of his time. And as a political establishment, we tend to put the cart ahead of the horse. And you've seen subsequent elections, we have not been able to win. And that's something that we take as strong feedback for ourselves, that continuity in governance is equally, if not more important at this juncture for our state of Andhra Pradesh to see our vision through, number one. Number two, whatever vision I've shared with you is something that I've already discussed with the electorate, and we go back for constant feedback, and we will involve them in the entire process. And the last bit, I think even the political class or the bureaucracy, I think the last 5 years was a slumber. So I think it's taken us a bit of time to wake everyone up and say, let's move. And with a kind of renewed interest and energy that Andhra is now witnessing, creating that momentum is going to be very critical for us as a state. I think these are the clear three things that we want to go about delivering. And I'm sure that these three delivered, then Andhra Pradesh should be the first $1 trillion economy in India. Thank you very much again for having me here. I'm honored. See, Mr. Naidu is a veteran. This is the fourth term. He's the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. But he brings renewed energy. Just to give you an idea of the kind of mandate we got, out of the 175 constituencies we contested, we won 164. That's a 92% strike rate. It's the highest ever even we've witnessed. Saying that, out of the 164, 88 of us are first-time members of Legislative Assembly. In his cabinet, 17 ministers are first-time ministers. So a lot of fresh faces, a lot of energy to do good. All of us are raring to just get going. Andhra Pradesh is, as I said, a very long state, which lends itself very well for decentralized development with clear sectoral focus. As I already stated, we believe in the power of ecosystems. And we are here to deliver on that ecosystem. A lot of work has already been done between 14 and 19. It could be renewable energy, it could be the automotive, the mobility sector. Electronics manufacturing is another great area where a lot of work has already been done. Biofuels, aquaculture, pharma, then you of course have the entire medical devices manufacturing, the IT space. So the state lends itself very well for investments across all sectors. And the beauty of our state is we can potentially be a net zero in terms of carbon emissions as a state. Sheerly because of the 72 gigawatts of renewable energy that is going to come online by the end of our term, which is 2029. So as a state, we are competing with other states, no second thoughts about it. But one thing I can promise to you in Andhra Pradesh is speed of doing business. That's something that other states cannot promise. We will deliver on that. As ministers, we are very committed to it. So every investor who's knocked on my door, we have a WhatsApp group that we create, and then we are in touch with them. And every week we update the investor on what has happened, what needs to be done, what are our hits and misses for the week, where have we fell short, and how are you going to make that up. Because see, our investments ticket sizes have increased. I mean, now $1 billion investment seems to be a norm of the day. But then a week delay, a month delay, or even a 6-month delay of your project is just going to throw your business plan out of the window. So we understand that, we appreciate that. So we will deliver on the speed of doing business, and we're here to deliver. And last point, for us to deliver this, we have recreated Economic Development Board, which is being headed by a young IAS officer. And we have his entire team under him is coming from the private sector. So veterans from that industry are going to come, join the Economic Development Board. So they'll be your single port of call and your point of contact. And anyone investing over $1 billion in our state will have a dedicated person from the state sitting in your office and delivering on the promises that we have made to you. So I request all of you to look at our state. Please come. You will see the renewed energy that we have, the great opportunities across all sectors. It could be the new capital city, it could be our port, it could be our big data, it could be the petrochem, chemical, the entire pharma ecosystem. There's amazing opportunities out there. So I request all of you to take a hard look at the state of Andhra Pradesh and definitely give us an opportunity, and believe me, we will deliver much, much better than any other state in India. So thank you.